Welcome to the ultimate deep dive analytical preview of this week's most compelling football fixtures. In the highly competitive world of football forecasting, separating surface level public opinion from actual statistical value requires a ruthless focus on core data. We must analyze underlying metrics, tactical design, physical matchups, and the subtle home-away systemic variations that define modern football. Today, we are breaking down 5 fascinating games across international and domestic landscapes. Each matchup serves as a unique tactical blueprint with historical data trends pointing toward a highly distinct outcome. If you want to elevate your footballing intelligence and see exactly how the tactical chess match will unfold, you are in the perfect place. Let us get straight into the comprehensive, data-driven analysis of these crucial fixtures. We begin our analysis on the international stage, where a captivating structural mismatch presents itself as Scotland prepares to play host to Curacao. When evaluating this fixture, the primary narrative centers entirely on technical dominance and defensive compactness. The home nation enters this contest with a highly defined identity built on physical intensity, tactical synchronization in the middle third, and an incredible ability to restrict space in their defensive transition. They specialize in keeping a tight, disciplined mid-block that chokes out the central passing lanes and forces opposition players into low-probability wide spaces. On the other side, the traveling squad from Curacao brings a completely different footballing philosophy. They prefer a fluid, transitional style that relies on individual flair and vertical speed. However, when transitioning to cold, structured European environments against organized, Tier 1 defensive units, these fluid systems frequently suffer from structural breakdown. The sheer physical and technical profile of the hosts will likely dominate the tempo of this match from the opening whistle. The primary market angle for this encounter targets a straightforward home victory, as the hosts have a proven track record of completely suffocating lower-ranked opposition on their own turf. The visiting attackers will find it nearly impossible to penetrate a defensive line that prides itself on positional discipline and physical dominance inside the penalty area. As the match progresses, the sustained possession and superior structural endurance of the hosts will inevitably wear down the traveling defensive block. Expect a highly controlled, patient performance where the hosts exploit spaces on the wings and maintain an immaculate clean sheet, making a precise 2-0 score lean in favor of Scotland an exceptionally robust statistical conclusion. Shifting our focus to the regional domestic leagues of Sweden, we look at a highly competitive tactical duel between Ariana FC, playing on their home turf under the banner of AFC Malmö, and the visiting Laholms. This fixture is a classic masterclass in home field attacking momentum versus traveling defensive vulnerability. The hosts have established their home ground as an absolute fortress this season, characterized by an aggressive, front-foot pressing style that seeks to disrupt the opponent's build-up play in the opening minutes. They commit their fullbacks high up the pitch, creating dangerous numerical overloads in the final third that force opposing defenders into costly individual errors. The visiting side, Laholms, approaches away games with a far more conservative, low-block strategy. They want to absorb pressure, narrow the spaces between their defensive and midfield lines, and rely heavily on long-range distribution to spark isolated counterattacks. However, the data reveals that when Laholms faces teams capable of moving the ball with high horizontal velocity, their defensive shape tends to fracture laterally. This structural matchup heavily favors a home victory for the Malmö-based club. The tactical data indicates they will command the vast majority of territory and goal-scoring opportunities. Yet, the visitors possess enough raw athletic pace on the break to punish a high defensive line exactly once, exploiting the aggressive positioning of the hosts. This creates a fascinating competitive dynamic where the hosts will dominate the scoreline but remain vulnerable to a singular, clinical transition. The analytical projection points directly toward a high-intensity battle where the home side's relentless attacking waves ultimately break through the visitor block twice, securing a hard-fought 2-1 victory. Remaining in the top flight of Swedish football, the Allsvenskan presents a historic blockbuster encounter as the powerhouse Malmö FF plays host to Halmstad. This matchup highlights the immense gulf in class between elite, modern possession automation and a traditional, defensive counterpunching unit. Malmö FF represents the gold standard of footballing structures in this region. Their tactical setup is highly sophisticated, utilizing rapid ball circulation, positional rotations, and intense counter-pressing to completely starve the opposition of possession. They do not just win games on their own patch, they completely dictate every single square meter of the pitch. Halmstad enters this intimidating environment as a massive underdog, fully aware that attempting to play an open, expansive game against the league leaders is a form of tactical self-sabotage. The visitors will undoubtedly deploy an ultra-defensive system, packing the penalty area with a back five and attempting to choke out the central channels. However, the sheer technical depth and creative variance of Malmö FF make them uniquely equipped to systematically dismantle even the most stubborn low blocks. The primary market angle centers firmly on a comprehensive home victory. While the visitors might find a momentary window of joy via a set piece or a defensive lapse during a rare transition to score a single goal, they simply do not possess the structural endurance to withstand 90 minutes of constant attacking waves. Malmö's automated passing circuits will eventually find the half spaces, pulling the away defenders out of position and converting high-probability chances. This relentless territorial dominance points directly to a convincing 3-1 victory for the home side. Our fourth destination keeps us within the intense competitive landscape of the Allsvenskan, focusing on a highly volatile and tactically fascinating clash between Gais and Kalmar. This fixture provides a perfect textbook example of two teams whose attacking efficiencies vastly outperform their current defensive structures. Gais is a team that plays with immense bravery in front of their own supporters. They implement a high-octane, vertical pressing system that prioritizes rapid forward passing and immediate shots on target. This high-energy philosophy guarantees a massive volume of goal-scoring opportunities, but it inherently leaves massive, unprotected spaces behind their midfield line. The visiting side, Kalmar, is tailor-made to exploit precisely those types of spatial defects. They are an incredibly intelligent technical side, specializing in drawing the opponent's press forward before using precise, short pass combinations to play through the pressure and launch dangerous multiplayer attacks. Because both managers implement tactical setups designed to maximize offensive output rather than minimize defensive risks, the traditional win-loss markets carry a degree of uncertainty. Therefore, the ultimate data-supported angle for this match centers on the goals market, specifically targeting both teams to score. Neither side has demonstrated the defensive discipline required to keep clean sheets against proactive, technically proficient opponents. Expect a chaotic, box-to-box spectacle with a high volume of transitions. While the match will feature moments of dominance from both clubs, the home side's superior efficiency and emotional energy at home will likely tip the scales by a single goal, culminating in a highly entertaining 2-1 victory for Gais. Our final destination takes us to the elite division of Norwegian football, where a high-stakes, explosive encounter is locked in as Molde plays host to Sandefjord. Football in this league is defined by athletic dynamism, high-scoring trends, and an absolute refusal by managers to settle for passive, low-scoring stalemates. The hosts, Molde, are an absolute juggernaut when playing on their own synthetic turf. Their entire tactical framework is built on overwhelming the opposition through sheer numbers in the box, utilizing overlapping center-backs and explosive wing-backs to create endless crossing opportunities. They play with a relentless tempo that forces traveling teams into deep, fatiguing defensive postures very early in the game. The visitors, Sandefjord, are a proud and stubborn team that refuses to simply sit in a deep block, even when traveling to face the league's elite. They prefer an open, expansive style of play, committing players forward in transition and taking significant defensive risks to create overloads of their own. When these two high-scoring philosophies collide on a fast-playing surface, a massive explosion of goals is statistically inevitable. This makes the over 2.5 goals market the most bulletproof analytical foundation for this entire fixture. Both teams possess elite clinical finishers, and neither tactical setup features the defensive pragmatism needed to slow down the tempo of the match. Expect a relentless showcase of modern attacking football, filled with high shot counts and constant pressure on both penalty areas. While the visitors will heavily contribute to the entertainment value and break through the home defense, Molde's world-class attacking depth and structural superiority at home will ultimately overwhelm the traveling side, pointing directly toward a dominant 3-1 victory for the hosts. Masterclass football analysis proves that sustained success is never born from guesswork or superficial table gazing. It is achieved by decoding the underlying structural setups, spatial conflicts, and tactical motivations that govern 90 minutes of professional football. Every single one of these 5 fixtures tells a highly specific, data-driven story of tactical warfare across the pitch. Understanding how these distinct managers will adjust their strategies as the whistle blows is the true secret to elite sports evaluation. Keep your focus locked directly on the tactical chess matches, watch how the physical transitions unfold across the midfield lines, and enjoy the absolute brilliance of the beautiful game.